is his actual bunker. And it really looks like because it's just so monumentally huge, gigantic. It was by far the most used of all his headquarters.
Across Europe lie forgotten catacombs of concrete and steel, secret Nazi bunkers that remained hidden for decades, some beneath cities, others swallowed by forests and mountains. These massive fortresses were not just shelters, but the core of Hitler's military ambitions, engineered to change the course of World War II. What terrifying secrets did these underground complexes hold?
Made it just such a grim and miserable place to be. It really is reflective of Hitler's mentality, of his paranoia.
From enormous superguns poised to bombard capitals to preserved artifacts that feel frozen in time, the discoveries in these bunkers reveal a hidden world few knew existed, and even fewer dared to explore. The discovery of hidden bunkers. Scattered across Europe lie vast, forgotten networks of Nazi bunkers, massive concrete fortresses that escaped detection for decades. These hidden complexes were far more than simple shelters. They represented the depths of Hitler's strategic and military ambitions.
Hitler authorizes an unlimited budget. If you come in and you say, we need X number of tons of concrete.
Engineered to protect weapons, personnel, and command centers from relentless Allied attacks. Many of these bunkers remained concealed beneath forests, mountains, and urban sprawl until recent revelations brought them back into the light of history.
We can see how strong the structure was, how much concrete was inside, how much steel was here.
Their almost perfect preservation has stunned historians and archaeologists alike, revealing a shadowy underground world frozen in time. What is most astounding is how these fortresses managed to stay hidden for so long, despite their size and significance. Some were buried deep beneath the earth, their entrances swallowed by dense vegetation or urban expansion. Others lay beneath snowy mountain ranges or coastline sand dunes, invisible to aerial reconnaissance and even forgotten by locals. The secrecy surrounding their construction, often compounded by forced labor and extreme security measures, only added to their mystery.
By a whole ventilation system. The thickness of the walls, the dankness of it, made it just such a grim...
Until recently, these bunkers existed as ghosts in the landscape, known mostly through fragmented documents and wartime rumors. The rediscovery of these sites is not just a story of uncovering physical structures, but also of peeling back layers of history long obscured. Many bunkers had been deliberately erased, sealed, or sabotaged at the war's end, their contents scattered or destroyed. Yet, beneath rubble and overgrown foliage, their core infrastructures remained remarkably intact.
You're really kind of like you're in a concert hall almost, except it goes on and on and on.
Preserving weapons, equipment, and in a few cases, personal belongings of the soldiers who once lived and fought within them. These sites are time capsules, offering chilling insights into the scale and brutality of Nazi military engineering. Each new find challenges readers and viewers to reconsider what they thought they knew about World War II's final years. The bunkers speak not just to military history, but to the human cost hidden away beneath their concrete walls. Accounts of forced laborers, harsh working conditions, and grim living quarters surface alongside technological marvels and deadly armaments. The emotional weight of discovery grows heavier with every artifact unearthed, whether it be ordnance, uniforms, or long-forgotten documents. Despite their monumental nature, these bunkers have often been overlooked or misunderstood. Their vastness and complexity blur the lines between military installation, underground city, and monument to a desperate regime. In recent years, advances in technology, such as LiDAR scanning and ground-penetrating radar, have revolutionized the search, enabling experts to probe beneath the Earth's surface without disturbing fragile remnants. Each new breakthrough unearths more secrets.
We'd heard some rumors that the plan was to build 1,200 fighters here every month. We just couldn't believe that.
Deepening the mystery and fascination with these underground fortresses. The stories these bunkers hold are not merely relics of a dark past, but vibrant reminders of a war that reshaped the world. Some were weapons factories hidden from bombers. Others were launch sites for terror weapons aimed at cities far from their locations. Still others were command posts from which the Third Reich coordinated its final desperate battles. The rediscovery of even a fraction of these sites has prompted historians to rethink logistics, strategy, and the ruthless efficiency with which these fortifications were built. From the wreckage of World War II emerges a landscape dotted with these silent giants, bunkers that resisted destruction and concealment for decades. Their rediscovery reveals the scale of Nazi ambition and the terrifying lengths the regime went to ensure survival and dominance. But just as these bunkers hide their secrets beneath layers of concrete, the most haunting truths about what lies inside and who suffered there wait to be uncovered. Before uncovering the true scale of Hitler's intended superweapons and the terrifying machinery housed in these bunkers. Fortress of Mimoyek and its supergun. In northern France, near the English Channel, lies the ruins of the fortress of Mimoyek, an immense underground complex built with a terrifying purpose. Known under the codename Boverhabin 711 or Project 711, this fortress was designed to become home to Hitler's London cannon, the V3 weapon. This revolutionary supergun was intended to bombard London relentlessly from across the sea, delivering devastation at an unprecedented scale. The original plan for the London cannon was staggering.
It becomes very Germanic in its feel.
Organization Taunt brings in an astounding number of forced labor.
Up to 50 barrels firing simultaneously, capable of launching 3,000 shells daily on British targets. Even after the plan was scaled back, the project aimed to deploy 25 guns capable of firing 600 shells per hour, enough to terrorize a city and disrupt wartime morale. For the Nazis, the V3 represented a key part of their vengeance weapons program, intended to change the balance of the war through sheer firepower. Construction commenced in secret in September 1943, with the site chosen for its strategic advantages. Over 8 kilometers inland to avoid Royal Navy attacks, situated near a railway for efficient supply, and built into stable chalk geology to support the enormous infrastructure. The underground complex itself featured 2 lengthy, 600-meter railway tunnels, buried 30 meters deep beneath the earth. Above ground, 5 massive inclined shafts, angled at 50 degrees, were designed to house the gun barrels that would deliver destruction from afar. The workforce behind this monumental undertaking was vast and grim. Over 5,000 laborers, including German engineers, miners, and enslaved Soviet prisoners, worked under brutal conditions. 12-hour shifts in hazardous environments marked their daily lives, a harsh reminder of the cruelty underpinning the project's scale. Despite its ambitious design, the fortress's true function remained a deadly secret for the Allies, who initially misidentified the site as a V2 rocket base. Between late 1943 and August 1944, Allied bombers relentlessly targeted the Mimoyek complex, dropping over 4 tons of explosives in an effort to halt construction.
Unknown space, I'm excited. It's natural because I still hold
The decisive blow came on July 6, 1944, when the Royal Air Force's 617 Squadron, the famous Dam Busters, deployed 16 12,000-pound tallboy earthquake bombs. These penetrated deep into the tunnels, triggering catastrophic collapses and flooding. The assault effectively crippled the fortress long before it became operational. Canadian forces captured the fortress without resistance on September 5, 1944, finding the site abandoned and in ruins. Winston Churchill later ordered its complete demolition in May 1945, using 36 tons of TNT, considering the attack the most devastating of the war. Today, the partially preserved fortress serves as a museum memorializing both the Allied airmen who carried out the attacks and the countless forced laborers who perished during its construction. The secrets of Mimoyek foreshadow the incredible scale and strategic role of underground complexes like the Maisy Battery. Maisy Battery's secret war role. Just inland from Normandy's famous landing beaches lies the once-lost Maisy Battery, a massive German fortification that escaped both wartime and post-war scrutiny for over 60 years. This underground installation was not only huge, but tactically critical, comprised of a complex that functioned like a small city. Yet despite its importance, Maisy was effectively invisible during the D-Day invasion, due to the secrecy of its construction and Allied intelligence's focus elsewhere. The battery was rediscovered in 2004 by British historian Gary Stern following a chance find. A hand-drawn map in an American veteran's uniform pocket marking the location of a fortified position near Grand Camp Maisy. Beginning excavations in 2005, Stern uncovered a sprawling complex over 44 hectares in size that had vanished from official records. The extensive site included interconnected trenches, personnel bunkers, ammunition storage, hospital facilities, and radar control centers, all underground.
We find some solution, we will find another part, and we will discover something.
Excavations revealed remarkable artifacts intact since 1945. German helmets, gas masks, ammunition, and evidence of fierce firefights. Burn marks on bunker ceilings, unearthed through advanced LiDAR scanning, pointed to combat inside the facility during its capture. Strategically, it contained 14 major guns, including 6 155mm French howitzers and 4 100mm cannons capable of shelling both Utah and Omaha beaches. Despite its hidden status, the Maisy Battery remained fully operational throughout D-Day and continued to shell Allied landing sites for 3 days afterward. This oversight was primarily due to Allied intelligence focusing on nearby positions, while Maisy's secret construction went unnoticed. Its strategic placement below ground level in gently sloping terrain made the battery virtually invisible to aerial reconnaissance and surface scouting. The US Rangers launched an assault on June 9, 1944, engaging in intense close-quarters combat over 5 hours to secure the battery. The fight cost 18 American casualties, but ultimately led to its capture. Upon seizure, they discovered an astonishing stockpile of over 180 tons of ammunition, enough to sustain weeks of continuous bombardment. Maisy Battery's rediscovery has reshaped our understanding of the Normandy campaign, revealing the hidden depth and complexity of German fortifications that resisted and delayed the Allied advance. The site underscores the scale of Nazi preparation and the desperate lengths they went to defend occupied France. Beyond military history, it gives voice to the countless soldiers and prisoners whose lives intersected within these underground walls. Today, Maisy stands as a powerful reminder of wartime secrecy, forgotten battles, and the often unseen horrors buried beneath battlefields. It highlights how the war was fought, on levels both visible and hidden, above ground and below. These discoveries along the French coast find eerie parallels in other parts of Europe, like Denmark's coastline, where thousands of bunkers echo a story of intimidation, survival, and memory. The Wolf's Lair and Eastern Front Command. Deep within the dense forests of northeastern Poland lies the Wolf's Lair, Adolf Hitler's main military headquarters on the Eastern Front during World War II. Spanning over 250 hectares and hidden purposefully among the trees, the complex was a fortress in both scale and secrecy. Construction began in 1940 and eventually included around 200 buildings, ranging from reinforced bunkers to barracks and support structures. It was chosen for its remote location, natural camouflage, and strategic positioning, allowing Hitler and his closest advisors to direct military operations while remaining protected from aerial attacks. The bunker walls here were formidable, up to 8 meters thick in places, designed to withstand heavy bombardment and sabotage attempts. Hitler spent more than 800 days at the Wolf's Lair, using it as the nerve center of his war efforts, surrounded by security forces and trusted officials. However, the facility is perhaps most famously known as the site of the July 20th, 1944, slaying attempt against Hitler. Colonel Klaus von Stauffenberg placed a bomb in a briefcase beneath the conference table, intending to slay the Führer and spark a coup. The explosion slew 4 men, but failed to slay Hitler, as the bomb was inadvertently moved behind a thick table leg. The foiled Operation Valkyrie plot led to a series of harsh retaliations by the Gestapo, which resulted in the capture of over 7,000 people who were suspected to be part of the conspiracy and the death of nearly 5,000 of them. Among the executed was Stauffenberg, who was shot by a firing squad in Berlin just a few hours after the attempt went wrong. The Wolf's Lair was in use until 1944, when the Soviet troops closed in and forced its evacuation. after which it was partly blown up to eliminate any future use. A human skeleton was found in 2015 close to the building, thought to be that of a forced labor inmate who was made to work in the construction or maintenance of the bunker. The finding brings to light the vast amount of suffering that was hidden behind the fortress's thick walls, since thousands of laborers were working under inhumane conditions to support Hitler's war machine silently. Nowadays, the Wolf's Lair has become a place where about 300,000 people come to visit each year. Just by being in the sight of the partially wrecked bunkers, the visitors get an immense and sobering view of the military center of the Third Reich on the Eastern Front. The Wolf's Lair is the perfect representative of the Nazi bunker dilemma, their dual nature as both extraordinary engineering accomplishments and cruelty and despair symbols. The facility's past takes us through high-ranking military commands, nearly accomplished slaying, and human misery, thus mirroring the larger war tragedies. The thick woods that conceal the site now are a sharp contrast to the bloodshed that used to be the sound from within its walls. On the other hand, the other secret bunkers, which are different from the Wolf's Lair, safeguarded the different aspects of the Nazi war machine, namely naval strength and arms production. One such example lies near Germany's major ports, where underwater and land-based submarine bunkers tell a story of innovation and destruction. Submarine bunkers and underground factories. The German war effort invested heavily in protecting its submarine fleet, a ruthless weapon of the Atlantic conflict. Near Hamburg, on the southern bank of the Elbe River, the Elbe II U-boat bunker stood as one of the largest and most robust submarine facilities constructed during the war. Completed in 1941 with 50,000 cubic meters of reinforced concrete, it was built specifically to shield Germany's advanced submarines from Allied bombing campaigns that sought to cripple their naval operations. Its massive size and resilience made it nearly impervious to attacks. 6 months after Germany's surrender in May 1945, British Royal Engineers deliberately demolished the bunker using 32 tons of explosives. The controlled demolition collapsed the central dividing walls and caused catastrophic roof failure, effectively burying the submarines inside and transforming the site into an unintended time capsule. Despite this initial damage, the concrete fortress survived subsequent demolition attempts, including a dynamite blast in 2001, and stood as a stubborn relic of wartime naval architecture. The submarines entombed inside remained lost and largely forgotten until 1985, when researchers rediscovered them, photographing their remarkably preserved condition after decades underwater. The site then attracted souvenir hunters eager to explore and retrieve artifacts, prompting German authorities in the 1990s to fill the bunker with gravel and concrete. Today, the location lies beneath Hamburg's free port, inaccessible without special permissions, a forgotten underwater graveyard of war technology. Parallel to submarine bunkers, Nazi Germany developed complex underground factories designed to sustain weapons production away from Allied bombers. One of the most unique was Vineyard 1 in Bavaria, an enormous underground factory built using a novel construction technique, where huge gravel mounds were poured with reinforced concrete before gravel extraction. This method created massive, open concrete arches to house aircraft production facilities. Intended to assemble cutting-edge Messerschmitt Me 262 jet engines, the factory's construction relied heavily on forced laborers, including Jewish prisoners and Soviet POWs, many of whom died from brutal conditions. Despite the factory's scale and technological ambition, construction was never completed. By April 1945, only 7 of the planned 12 concrete arches were finished as American forces closed in. Post-war, the US military tested its resilience with explosives, collapsing most of the structure. Today, a solitary concrete arch remains standing as a somber memorial to the thousands who perished building this unrealized dream of Nazi air power. These lost fortifications sent shockwaves through the post-war world as their secrets came to light, reshaping historical understanding of the extent and ambition of the Third Reich. Legacy and controversy of Nazi bunkers. The story of Nazi bunkers does not end with their discovery or decay. It continues through the complex legacy they leave behind. Across Europe, the remains of these concrete fortresses have sparked debates about how history should remember them. For some, They are haunting reminders of a brutal regime and a war that devastated millions. For others, they are historical monuments, preserved sites holding invaluable lessons about warfare, power, and human suffering. In countries like Denmark, where thousands of bunkers form the largest construction project in national history, these sites pose a particular challenge. Some community members argue that preserving them honors the truth of the past and educates future generations about the realities of occupation and conflict. Others feel these structures bring back painful memories or risk becoming shrines for extremist sympathizers. This tension reflects a broader struggle to balance remembrance with rejection. Museums have emerged around many of these bunkers, transforming them from forgotten ruins into educational venues. They often house artifacts found within, helmets, weapons, and personal effects, offering visitors tangible connections to the people who lived and fought there. Interactive displays explore daily life underground, from soldiers' routines to the horrific conditions endured by forced laborers. These exhibits foster understanding, but also remind us of the stark human cost hidden beneath the concrete walls. However, preservation efforts are not without controversy. Some critics argue that keeping the bunkers intact may inadvertently glamorize Nazi military prowess or invite dangerous nostalgia. Meanwhile, debates rage over whether sites should be destroyed to erase grim reminders or safeguarded to confront uncomfortable truths. Governments and historians continue to wrestle with these questions, trying to honor victims while preventing misuse. The development of the urban landscape and the natural decay of the bunkers have posed big problems regarding the bunker's cultural heritage and historical accountability. In some places, bunkers have been turned into tourist attractions or even event spaces, which brings about a lot of different reactions. Moreover, the tension among the forces of respect, education, and commercialization has made the bunker's new importance even more complex. The rather secret Nazi bunkers that were discovered decades later speak not only of military supremacy, but also of the ethical debates surrounding memory and history. They make us unable to ignore the past with all its horrors, and they also pose the question of how to best incorporate the dark sides into today's consciousness. Future generations will eventually come to their own conclusions, depending upon whether it's preservation, demolition, or education that becomes the chosen means of dealing with the past. The secret Nazi bunkers unearthed across Europe reveal chilling chapters of ambition, cruelty, and resilience. Their stories remind us of a world hidden beneath the surface, where history's darkest moments played out. If you found this journey into hidden war zones gripping, be sure to like and subscribe for more incredible stories from the past. Your thoughts and questions are always welcome in the comments below.